So as I always say, the last 40 years they've been in the supply chain, but not participating. So, which reminded me of a case study I did in graduate school about fishermen in India and when cell phones were available for use in the early 1990s. And I said, all right, how do I connect these farmers? And the whole thing started with a mobile app and started doing research and discovery. And I don't know, here we are a year later with an actual operating app that's for the first time connecting farmers to the supply chain. It was close to the United States, and I've always wanted to learn Spanish. So I asked many people, what country should I go to? And the list built, but Colombia kept floating to the top. And then I spoke to a gentleman that worked for the IDB and was part of the Obama administration, and he said, go to Colombia, and either Medellin or Bogota. And so literally 1 week later, I took a flight down, spent 3 nights in Medellin, 3 nights in Bogota, and then 2 weeks later I'd sold everything and moved to Medellin. Originally, I was just looking for assistance in setting up an SAS. But then I learned about the other additional capabilities that Ongresso had, and it's just the breadth of knowledge of the team he put together, and that the actual intimate understanding of the culture, and not only understanding the culture, most of them are bilingual or multilingual, and not even that, they've actually integrated themselves into the culture, married locals, or they live here and have families here, so they're embedded, and so at the same time, it's they have skin in the game too. An understanding of how things work, especially in an emerging market, because if I did it myself, it would take a lot longer and cost a lot more, because there's so many little things you just don't know, and then you find out, and then you got to go another direction. But with them, it's just efficient. Here's the next step, and here's the next 4 steps, and here's what to expect, and here's the timeline, and everything they have shared with me has been correct. They're definitely about a long-term relationship, not making a quick buck from you. So one example was I needed advice that's already been pre-vetted from Ongresso, and they gave me 2 names of attorneys, and now we've hired them, and they're writing our contracts for transactions between iFinca and exporters, as an example. And there's a list. There's probably 3 or 4 more things that have arisen like that. And the first thing I do is I send an email to Ongresso, and even a couple personal matters when it's come to some recent tax issues for me personally. First person, Ongresso, because I know I trust them, and they'll put me in the right directions, whether it's them or somebody else, which is amazing. You don't see that very often in companies.